A man or a leader without a decision of character shall never be said to belong to himself, but belongs to whatever can make captive of him. Coming up. A former MK Party Mpumalanga convener, Mary Phadi, has accused Dr. John Hlophe of sexual harassment. Yep, sexual harassment. And even challenging him to undergo lie detector test in response to her allegations.
Ms. Phadi, thank you very much for your time. Very serious accusation, and particularly for a country that's been gripped in the last few days, watching the Judicial Conduct Tribunal against the Eastern Cape Judge President Selby Mbenenge. And here are yet more claims from another woman in South Africa. Talk to us about your story. What has happened here?
I think it was caused by the sequence of events, because it all started in August, and because of that reason, one is trying to understand as to what could be the escalating propaganda and attacks that one gets within a political party. I had to go to court to clear my name, hence the convener and reinstated in my position as a convener, as well as the party leader in the legislature. But if you look at what has been happening, one can wonder as to, is that the reason why I have denied the deputy president an opportunity to advance his interest in me? And the first letter that I received, it was from him. The beginning of August, we met. Before the end of August, already I was receiving a letter that says that I should give reasons why I should not be withdrawn as a party leader.
So there are two things here, and I would like for them to be separated, because your position in Mpumalanga as the MK Party convener, you are telling us here today that you are still the convener of the MK Party. We'll talk about that at the end. We'd like to deal with the sexual harassment claims. What can you prove? What is it that you can put on the table and say, this is what John Hlophe said to me, and this I view as an attempt at trying to get me to sleep with him?
You know, I don't have to prove anything, because it is personal. And the messages that he has sent to me are the ones that can be able to prove that. I don't have to sit on the table and say, I'm trying to convince you, Claudie, to say this had happened. Yeah. But if you read the messages, you will be able to tell what I had denied him to meet with me. And therefore, later, within that month, and then you see such responses, then you now think as to why I could not write to the president earlier. It is because everything happened so fast, in such a manner that when he sent that letter of me being requested to withdraw myself on the 26th of August, he then disappeared into the picture. And then later on, I received another letter, which is the letter that is sitting in court, and it does not make sense in terms of the dates. But where we are seated here is that I don't have to say it myself, but I can tell you now that messages can be able to prove that. But beyond messages...
So these are messaging, these are text messages via the phone that you say you have in your possession?
The information that is there, it will assist everyone to be able to be comfortable. But because it's a personal matter, I'm happy with the fact that I'm trying to find the understanding as to exactly what is happening, and therefore I don't have to prove myself to any messages. Yeah. He can even go and do a lie detector test, then we are sorted.
You have raised this with the leader of the party, Jacob Zuma. What did he say?
He did not respond on time, and it so happened that obviously the media will pick up such things and we find ourselves here. But it is an internal letter that I was sending to the president to say, President, I think whatever that is happening, it is the reason behind the messages that I received, and I had denied that the deputy president the opportunity to be able to speak to me further than the way he did.
Yeah.
And indeed, I could tell that it did not sit well with them.
In my previous video, I did mention that if MK Party leadership don't deal with the Mpumalanga issue between Mkhwebane and Mary Phadi, and think that they will just dismiss her and discard her like that, MK Party has got another thing coming, because this woman won't go down without a fight. And boy, was I right. Yes, she is now. She's back with her guns blazing.
Yeah.
He must be suspended with immediate effect. The way he wanted me to be suspended with allegations that do not exist, he needs to be suspended with immediate effect. Then that will tell us that Umkhonto weSizwe is interested to make sure that everybody's fine. But what I'm saying is that for him to get a third lawyer made me to realize that indeed he's up to something. Why should two lawyers withdraw and then the third lawyer been sent by him?
And Mary Phadi didn't waste time. She just wrote a letter to Jacob Zuma. And let me quickly read this letter for you. The letter read thus: Dear Mr. President, I write this letter to you to express my concern about the event that have been unfolding in our beloved party, Umkhonto weSizwe, especially the event that relate to myself being victimized through the various propaganda and false accusations placed upon my name. I would like to put it on record that these accusations have been escalating since the Deputy President, Dr. Comrade John Hlophe, made sexual advances towards me, and that I did not appreciate. As a leader of Umkhonto weSizwe, I take the matters of ethics and morality very seriously, and with the mandate to serve and deliver to our people. As a woman, I'm being vilified and victimized since I refuse to give into his attempts of spending the night with him as favors in August 4th in 2024. He sent a text with effect of 22:54, that's the time, on that day after we had leadership meeting in Nelspruit. My refusal and unresponsiveness was the diplomatic drive to manage the situation. She was smart, I tell you. I feel that the persistent vilification and continued propaganda against me is a consequence of my refusal to give in to his advances. This is manufactured behind the scenes by him. Regards, Miss Mary Phadi. This really doesn't look good for John Hlophe, but I believe maybe MK will really find a way to rise above this, because elections are just around the corner. And MK Party has responded to these damning allegations.
How is the party handling or addressing this matter that has been put forward by Ms. Phadi?
Well, I think let's start with the genesis of what led to where we're at. Mary Phadi is a leader at the time who was appointed by the national officials and more so also by President Zuma. And she was entrusted with a role of setting up the structures within Mpumalanga and also being the party leader in the legislature. It's unfortunate that at the time, when the national officials wanted her to hand over the accounts of the legislature, that she totally refused to hand over the accounts. And the reason for the request to hand over the accounts is that as a party, we're putting in processes in place. We need to centralize all the accounts so as to ensure that we manage this organization professionally as part of professionalizing it. Now, there were certain reports that came through from Mpumalanga that not only on the issue of, the financial misconduct, if we should say. There were also other issues of, her attending meetings, wielding guns, backed by goons in these meetings, and intimidating people.
Guys, wait. Something doesn't make sense on what Ntamulo Ndlela is saying right now. as good as he is in articulating his side of the story, or the MK side of the story, but Nhlamulo is recycling the old allegations that were dealt with in a court of law, and the court dismissed those allegations. The allegations about mismanagement of funds and the allegations of hitmen that they say Mary Phadi have sent for some of the members of MK. Those are old allegations, and they were tabled in the court of law and they were dismissed. Hence, Mary Phadi won the case. That doesn't make sense to me right now. Why Nhlamulo is still bringing back those allegations, yet they were dealt with long time ago. I thought that maybe Nhlamulo will bring in new, fresh information against Mary Phadi. But now him recycling old allegations doesn't look good for MK. Can somebody please drop your comment down there on this thing on the comment section, and please make it make sense to me, because right now it doesn't make sense.
This is also something that we should note, that at one point she was arrested, if people don't know. Mary Phadi was arrested. And the reason for her arrest was that, you know, she had made certain comments that were such that she wanted to get certain people assassinated. And the police got a hold of this information. There was recordings, and she was locked in. I remember at one point, Mary Phadi called me because she was concerned that this was going to blow over into the media, and she wanted to know how she should handle it. I've got SMSs that can show that. So Mary Phadi must not be painted as a person who is innocent here. Mary Phadi, in actual fact, was given an opportunity to make representations to the national leadership, of which she totally, again, denied to do so. She was given an opportunity. She was given an opportunity in light of those transgressions and her being in defiance to then step down. She didn't want to step down.
All right.
And we took a decision as national officials and the president to then terminate and to recall her. That's when then she obviously went to court. Now, leading up to that, the deputy president, alongside other leaders of the party, was sent there to deal with this crisis, even prior to her being terminated. And the report came back with recommendations, and those recommendations pointed to all these other things I've just mentioned, and even other things which I don't want to touch or get into because, you know, we're going through a process. And that report basically made a recommendation that she be terminated. And off the back of that, one thing that you should know is that as part of the analysis, the political analysis, the situation analysis in the province, the judge in this case with the team had to engage with two different factions, if you will, and hear both sides of the story. And you know, to consolidate and to stabilize the organization in the province, that recommendation was made, and that's it, and that's why we're here.
You've painted a picture of the internal dynamics within the MK, but as things stand, there is a very serious allegation leveled against the deputy leader of the party, and this is a matter that the general public of South Africa are going to be concerned about and want to know whether the party is addressing it, given the state of gender-based violence in South Africa. And so it's a matter that cannot be downplayed. So I'm going to ask you again, is the party dealing and addressing this matter in relation to Dr. Hlophe allegedly having sexually harassed Ms. Phadi?
You know, as you said it, this is a sensitive matter. And Umkhonto weSizwe and the leadership, we take such matters very, very seriously. And in light of that, you know, it's sensitive both in terms of what you said, the challenges that we're faced with as a society, from a GBV perspective, but also sensitive politically, naturally, because as you said, this is the deputy president. So we need to look into that. We're taking this very seriously. Obviously, this is something that was brought forward off the back of what seemed to be a letter from her. I've never seen the actual letter or the confirmation that the president did receive this letter. You know, so one can also not confirm that it actually is a letter from her, even though she may say that this is what it is.
Well, she does state it.
Well,
for
yeah,
the record.
Well, I'm just
and
saying
that
formally
it has been sent to.
No, formally
President
from our end, we haven't received that letter. Is what I'm saying. So we cannot be taking and responding to a letter that's just we've seen in social media. If that is the case, then we'll take this seriously. But I think going back to the seriousness of the issue, which we should not underplay, we take this matter very seriously, and we're going to look into it.
Has the party called Dr. Hlophe to allow him the time to take the party into his confidence about what actually happened and whether he did indeed send text messages that Ms. Phadi claims are in her possession right now.
Well, firstly, the Deputy President's position is very simple, and that is there is no such messages that were sent. That's the first point. The second point is, even though that is the case, the DP will obviously take us into his confidence. This is something that has just, sort of blown up in the media. So we will then engage with the judge, at the right time. But as I said, we take this matter seriously, and that's what we need to focus on. But I think one of the things that we need to take into consideration here is that, we're trying to stabilize the organization as Umkhonto weSizwe leadership. We've got an organization here that needs to gear up for local government 2026 elections. We cannot have a situation where we have rogue elements of individuals who don't take instructions from leadership. And this is exactly what's happening with Mary here. Mary has been in defiance of the organization. You can't, when you're recalled or requested to hand over accounts, and think you're going to manage those accounts as though they're your own personal piggy bank.
I think MK party leaders had ample time to de-escalate this issue of Mary Phadi before it got where it is right now. This issue should have been dealt with long time ago. But lack of decisive leadership from the MK party leadership side is costing them now. And we have yet another elephant in the room that MK party is not dealing with decisively: the issue of Duduzile Zuma. Again, if MK party is not dealing with that woman and calling her to order, the issue will escalate and become worse than it already is right now. What do you think? Let me hear your comment below. And of course, if you are coming for the first time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.